Alright, PBA pre-algebra class, we are looking at section 9.3 in our math books. It's on page 467 here, number 7 and number 8. This is my favorite section. This is going to be the best. This is the Pythagorean Theorem section. It is something that you can use all the time. You can use it to square up, lay out, different things in construction. I used this before. Also used it working on the football field, laying out the diagrams of the end zones and making sure everything was squared on the lines. But it works out to a squared plus b squared equals c squared. Now these only work when it comes to right triangles, and we know that both of these in number 7 and 8 are right triangles because of the little square box right there and right there that tell us that these are right angle triangles. So they have that 90 degree there. We can use a squared plus b squared equals c squared. It doesn't matter which side is a and which side is b. One side is the other. So you work this out. You go 20 squared plus 21 squared equals c squared. Now, 20 squared is 400. 21 squared is 441, and that equals c squared. Add these two together and we get 841 equals c squared. Now as we work this out in our normal equation, we have to do the opposite. This is c times c squared. So we got to do the square root of both of these. The square root of c squared is c. And the square root of 841, if you use your trusty calculator, is 29. So you can see how a squared plus b squared equals c squared. Now as we look at number 8 here, same process, same everything here. We have our one side, 5 squared, plus our other side squared equals c squared. 5 times 5 is 25. 12 times 12 is a random weird number going out there. 144 equals c squared. We get these together. 25 plus 144 is 169 equals the square root, or c squared. Square root both sides. So c will equal 13. And it's that easy. A squared plus b squared equals c squared. You take the two sides, and this only works when c, and c is always the hypotenuse. We'll look at how to do the reverse of the alternate equation of this to figure out sides a and b in just a second. But if you're looking for the hypotenuse, that is the side that's opposite the right angle, is always c. If you're looking for the hypotenuse, you square the two sides, add them together, you'll get your correct answer. Alright, as we continue looking at numbers 10 and 11, this is the alternate form of it. There's a way of looking at it as c squared minus b squared equals a squared. You can just think of it that way, as just taking c squared minus the side. For some reason, people have a hard time of remembering that, and they get confused. So you can just take this as it is written and go with it. Understand that the sides a and b do not matter which one to use, but it's labeled here, so we'll call that a. The side c has to be the hypotenuse, and the hypotenuse is going to be the longest side. So our side c out of number 10 here is going to be 51. So we set up our equation, a squared plus 45 squared equals 51 squared. Okay, so we work those out. Figure out what it says. A squared plus 45 squared is 2,000 25. 51 squared is 2601. So a squared plus 2025 equals 2601. Now we got to follow our normal equation rules. What we do to one side, we got to do to the other. And to get something by itself, we have to do an opposite action. This is a squared plus 2025. So we're going to subtract 2025. What we do to one side, we have to do to the other. 2025 subtracted on both sides. Now we have a squared. These cancel. 2601 minus 2025 is 576. So we have a squared equals 576. Now to get a by itself, we have to square root both sides. A squared becomes a, and 576, if you put that into your calculator, you can figure out is 24. So our side here, a, is 24. So that one's relatively easy. You just follow the principles that you learn doing your calculations, doing your equations. Same thing over here. Let's do the same thing. We got a squared plus b squared. Now if we look at these two, they're very similar, but the longer side is 32. So that makes 30 our b. And our c will be 32. So as we work these out, a squared plus 900 equals 1024. Same thing we did over here on number 10. We have a squared plus 900 equals 1024. So we're going to have to subtract 900. So that'll cancel out, giving us a squared. And we subtract 900 from this side. This gives us 124. Square root both sides. Now, if we remember, we should know up to at least 12 or 13, hopefully all the way up to 15 on what the squares are. That's not a perfect square. So we can work it out and put 124. Well, we'll have to excuse that. Let's see if we can get rid of that. There we go. Now, 124 we take a factor of 2 out. Gives us 62. We can factor out another 2 and gives us 31. Now we have prime numbers of 4 times 31. Square root of 4 is 2. There's no prime perfect square of 31, so our answer is 2 times the square root of 31. So that is how you do the a squared plus b squared and find out any side of the triangle. Whether this was the b side, the a side, it works out the same way. You follow the normal rules when you're trying to find the hypotenuse, which is always going to be c. Alright, so to recap, Pythagorean Theorem, a squared plus b squared equals c squared. They only work with right triangles, and that's giving you information, letting you know that square right there is telling you that that has to be a right triangle. Can't be anything else. And when you do that, that means that the side opposite of the right triangle is going to be your c. That is going to be c. These two sides, a and b squared, are going to give you your c. If we are working to square those, and we square them. Once we are trying to find our answers, we'll then square root and get the correct answer for c, for a, for b, for whatever we're looking for. That's how it works out. So we'll continue on to lesson 9.4 in a couple of days.